cord, baby. There we go. All right, so this one says, he chose David his servant and took him from the sheep pens. From tending the sheep, he brought him to be the shepherd of his people. Jacob of Israel his inheritance, and David shepherded them, and with integrity of heart, with skillful hands he led them. Psalm 78, verses 70 to 72. When you look at my friend, Carrie Kaufman, you instantly notice her warm eyes and bright smile. She's a natural encourager with a laugh that makes you want to join in whatever conversation she's having. She loves to be on stage speaking or acting in ways that make a difference. But years ago, she found herself at the center of a completely different scene. One evening, Carrie saw a group of young men attacking a girl. Most of us would have run or simply called 911, but Carrie took action and dispatched several of the aggressors on her own. She received the prestigious Soldier's Medal for heroism as a result of her bravery. While Carrie says she responded even without having time to think through each action, she had unknowingly been preparing for that moment for years. Because of her physical and military training, she knew what to do, and she did it with extraordinary courage. I imagine the training Carrie went through wasn't always fun. Surely there were times when her body ached, her muscles were sore, and watching television sounded like a much better idea. When we're going through challenges, often what we see most is the here and now. Why is God stretching us so much? What's the point of this weight we're bearing? How come other people seem to have it easier? Yet usually what God is doing in our lives is not just about this moment, and it's certainly not just about us. Perhaps David had similar thoughts as he did the dirty and demanding work of taking care of sheep in the desert. His brothers were off at a battle while he got left behind. Yet in the quietness of those vast pastures, God was training David for his moment. David learned to fight lions. He knew how to battle a bear. He already decided to lay down his life for his sheep if necessary. So when a giant named Goliath challenged the army of Israel, David was the only one willing to step forward with a sling and a stone. He didn't know this moment was coming, but he had been preparing for it for years. David would fight many more battles in the decades to come. He would also become king, the anointed shepherd of God's people. So much of what he did as a wise ruler and brave warrior actually began back in a lonely place with a few sheep and many frustrations. So if you find yourself in a season of life where you can't understand what God is doing, it may be that he's training and preparing you. Stay with it, friend. Finish what he's asked you to do or go through. Persevere. God has more ahead for you than you can even imagine. And when your moment to save a life or a soul, slay a giant, or be used by God in some other unexpected way comes, you'll be ready. And the prayer is, Lord, thank you that you see the future and know everything that's going to come into my life. I'm glad you can prepare me for what's ahead, even when the challenges I'm facing now don't make any sense. Please give me the strength to persevere. We ask this in your name. Amen. All right. So that's a good thing to set our mind on. Remember that God is always preparing you, no matter what you're doing in life, where you are, what's going on. He's always preparing you for the next thing. And that he does have us in his hands. And he is, guiding our lives. All right. So did you guys get to dive into, or shall I say, is it better now? Is my internet connection better?
I think so.
Yeah, much better.
Good. So maybe that's what the issue was. All right. So let's quickly take a very small flashback to what we learned in chapters 1, 2, and 3, because we were supposed to be practicing what we had learned, because that's what John Maxwell said. It was really meant to read this kind of slowly and practice on those skills before you move to the next chapters. So the first thing that we talked about in chapter 1 last time was character. And character is really just the ability to rally men and women to a common purpose, and the character which inspires confidence. So we talked about character last time, that it's not really just it's more than talk. Character is a choice. Then we talked about in chapter 2 charisma, and some people think charisma is like oh, I'm so good on stage and, I'm just so full of energy, whatever. But charisma actually is being more concerned about making others feel good about themselves than you are making them feel good about you. So charisma is actually all about highlighting or putting others in the spotlight, shall I say, and getting yourself out of there. That is what charisma is, being very intentional with that. So how did you do? Because it did ask us, when you have conversations with people, pay attention to what you say and how much is about you and how much is about others and letting them shine. How'd you guys do on that one this last week?
Well, I guess I was mostly around my kids at work.
Yep.
And, I guess I was telling Jesse it's a challenge. I mean, this is totally different than having to lead a team, but I have a couple that really focus on the worst things in life. I mean, I know they're coming from bad homes, all that kind of, they have a lot of junk going on. Some of them not as much so as the other, but they don't even want to smile. It's like they are, and for as much as I feed them like the positive, they have every intent to just focus on the worst. And so when you give them a compliment or try to show them the good things that they are doing, it's very hard for them, but that's kind of been my goal for, to see that joy. Yes, you can get changed. You can say hi. You can wave. No? Okay.
Good morning.
She's too shy. So yeah, I mean, it's really, trying to help them see that part of themselves, I guess. And even the teacher in my classroom, I can tell she's had a lot that she's going through, and just letting her, talk through it and see. I mean, she's very talented, and I've not trying to, kiss up to her, but this is the first time we've worked together, and she has a lot of strengths, and she's very self-conscious about a lot of things, her weight, and she's just telling me, you have so many good things, She's great at what she does. So just try to help them see their worth too.
Yes, absolutely. That's how you become that person of influence, as you just pull out the gifts and the strengths of others, always looking for ways, just like you're doing, that will make you become such. And that's a quality of the 21 indispensable qualities of a leader. So that's awesome that you're already doing that. And you've always done that too. That's always been a natural for you to be very complimentary and be very encouraging. So that's awesome. And that is our job as leaders, is to really just show people, show them who they are before they are there. You know what I mean? That they can be great, and that they do have these great qualities that are impactful, that could change people's lives, that could really make a difference. So I love that. Okay. Then chapter 3 was all about commitment. So it was all the C's, and oh man, that one was amazing to think about. I'm just trying to think anything that I underlying that were so good. I loved the what was it? It was the 4, when it comes to commitment, there are really only 4 types of people: cop-outs, holdouts, dropouts, and all-outs. So we really talked about, people being an all-out person is what our goal is to people who set goals, commit to them, and pay the price to reach them. Anybody have anything else to say about what we discussed on last week's Zoom? Chapters 1 to 3. Otherwise, we'll dive right into 4 and beyond, 4, 5, and 6 today.
I guess I have one.
Yeah.
Just a quick little thing on page 18, and I know I put this in the thread last week. Like, the one thing I had underlined was that they will believe in you only. I actually had a potential loyal customer today I've known for forever, and she's thought about it forever. Kind of messaged me today asking about products, and again, and she said, or should I just sell it, because you obviously love them, and it was one of those that, again, it's your commitment and being consistent with that commitment, just to keep on. People still are always watching, and if you believe in what you are doing, we believe in these products, and if we keep sharing. She's been watching me for 3 years now, so it's one of those that, you just have to be consistent with what you are committed to. That's all.
Very good. I love that. That you're exactly right. We kind of, and it doesn't have to be, we were talking about social media and how to post and how much is too much and how much throwing up, after I've been just watching a lot of these live videos of all these coaches. And yeah, I mean, to make sure that you're still getting something it works in at least each day, to let people know that you're still consistent with your business, that you're still open for business, that you're still, very much believe in what you're doing. Because I know, I was talking to another gal and she said she stopped doing a lot of posting, just kind of go the other way and went kind of the other pendulum way. And then she had people reaching out to her saying, are you still with It Works? So isn't it interesting how, if you stop posting for say 2, 3, 4 days, people might think that you're just not doing it anymore. And that, what happened? Are you still passionate about that? So I still think that really nice balance of, I like to do the 5 F's, the fun, the family, fashion, food that I'm eating, fun that I'm having, those kinds of things. And then throw in that It Works post, that lifestyle post is great. So that you are committed. All right, awesome. I love that. So let's move right on to communication. Oh my goodness, this is a fourth indispensable quality of a leader. Without it, you travel alone. I highlighted all over just the very front page on page 23 where it says, the leader must be able to share knowledge and ideas to transmit a sense of urgency and enthusiasm to others. If a leader can't get a message across clearly and motivate others to act on it, then having a message doesn't even matter. And I was like, oh, how many times have I been?
Exactly what I highlighted.
Oh, that's awesome. I mean, that really made me think, because I'm like, how often do I communicate something and maybe don't do a really good job of being super clear about what it is I'm trying to get across? Does anybody else have that problem? Where you're trying to scoot around the bush a little bit and you're like, how do I word this? How do I say this? And it doesn't really just, great communication is being able to just get that message across. Anybody have anything to say on that?
I do.
Okay.
I had an issue with my team. I've had an issue the last couple of weeks, and Liz, you and I have talked about that. And I wasn't sure how to communicate without, I didn't want to hurt feelings, but I wanted to make sure I got my point across. So my problem has been that with my team, that my team has, they are so super supportive of one another. They're constantly encouraging one another. They're saying, hey, can you guys, add me to your prayers, today, because this is going on in my life or whatever. And I found that there's so many team members on my team that still work regular jobs. And so when they get off, they open up their Facebook Messenger and there's 100 unread messages in our team thread. And that's totally can be the case on a daily basis. And so it was I had reached out to you because I'm I don't know how to communicate this to where I don't hurt anyone's feeling, but still get my point across to say, hey, I love the one team that we're embodying and the relationships that we're forming, that our family really, our team truly is a family. And I love that. I think the dynamic that I have on my team is amazing. And I know that not every team has that. I'm truly blessed by that. But when, I have other team members that really want to work their business and really want to be plugged in, I'm finding that they weren't even reading any of the messages and my messages about, hey, here's a team challenge I'm throwing out for the next 24 hours. And they're missing out on those opportunities because there was so much discussion going on things not even related to It Works lost. And then they're I don't have the time to sit and go through all of these messages, listen to all the voice messages to see if it's something that pertains to me and to help me with my business. I also had another issue, but I was able to communicate that, and I utilized my resources. So I reached out to you. I even reached out to one of, actually a couple of the team members that do work regular full-time jobs and asked them for their feedback. So what I just said it, and I was I love what we have here. I love the camaraderie and the relationships, but we really need to keep this thread strictly for our businesses. But I would be happy to create a thread for those of you who want to like have a group message where you can talk about each other, ask for prayers, then that's totally fine. And I did have to like bring that back up on our team Zoom on Thursday and just remind everyone, hey, don't forget, there's still people their phones from all of this until they get home, and then their phone is just blowing up, and then they feel overwhelmed. Mm-hmm. And the other problem I was having was I have a couple of team members who I honestly think, I feel like, not that they don't want to make money, but I think it's more for them. I think they joined because they want the friendships. I think they're just kind of lonely. So they just really, I think that's what really so much stuff together. And I really keep my team involved. I'm not in business by myself. Mm-hmm. But I had a couple of potential customers that literally reached out to me in the past 2 weeks and said, you know, I really wanted to order, but there was a certain person that was there that just, they wanted to, I'm trying to think of how she worded it. She said, I feel like they wanted to help, but they just didn't sound like they knew what they were talking about, and it turned me off. So I think it was kind of like I had to figure out a way. And what I did was I layered my leadership, because I've been reading that book too. I've got like 4 books I'm reading in. Mm-hmm. And so I went back to something I had read in that book, and I thought, okay, you know what? I need to involve one of my runners, which is Jenny, and say, hey, I really respect your opinion. Can you help me come up with a resolution for this issue? And so I told her, I said, I don't want to hurt anyone's feelings, but if they're like, how can I get my point across to them without hurting any feelings? That, you know, if you don't have any guests coming, you know, I wasn't even sure how I asked her. I just said, I don't know how to portray that to them, but they don't bring guests. And she said, honestly, if it were me, she's like, and it's so funny that this is what we read this week for this book group, because she had said, honestly, just be completely honest with you. If you don't have any guests coming, I have limited space. So if you don't have any guests coming this week, just, you know, please let's hold off and maybe come to next week's party, because it's going to be more of a team and a wrap party, because we're going to do a costume party. Mm-hmm. So I thought, oh my gosh, like common sense, straightforward to the point. But if I wouldn't have layered that leadership down and asked for her to help me lead the team and how I could convey that message, I don't know how I would have responded. Mm-hmm. So did it, and I asked for her opinion and her help, that I realized, oh my gosh, I just read that in that book. You know? Right. So it's funny how we start to apply those things too when we read, mm-hmm. and sometimes we don't even realize it.
Yeah. Oh man. And you know what? There's a couple things that you know that stood out too that you said. The fact that you look to your leaders and you know, again, that was that charisma, you know, like that's part of the charisma, you know, asking someone to, you know, help you come up with a solution, which also then, you know, showing her that you value her opinion and what, you know, what she thinks. And the other thing that was really good is the fact that, you know, you gave her ownership in that too. And, you know, people don't necessarily on your team. I just studied this with Kim when we're doing our how to get from here to there, how to lead from here to there. That was specifically in that book, saying that people don't necessarily want their way. They just want their way considered. Okay. So that's what you did. You did with Jenny. She wasn't like, you know, you kind of just said, I value your opinion. You know, what do you think about this? And so when people feel ownership, your team feels ownership in the team goal and just the team itself, that is huge, 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 huge. So that you did a couple really awesome things with that, Becky. So that's very, very cool. Okay. Anything else with anybody else have anything to say with communication that you highlighted, or, you know, that you're like, oh my goodness, that really hit me?
Well, the reason I highlighted what you had highlighted, Liz, is because I know, like right now with my downline, it's Steph, and she is doing a great job with, you know, communicating with our team or her then downlines. And that's just what made me think of, you know, her, that she's always sharing, always encouraging. And that's one thing that I know I need to step up with as people join my line then, you know, that right now it's easy for me to, well, that's Steph's downline, you know, like she's under me, but that's her team and she's grown it and she's rocking it. But knowing that as I bring on more, that's something I have to pick up, you know. So,
yeah.
I don't know if Steph's on, but that's a shout out to something that I need to work on.
Yeah. I'm just trying to think who is all on.
I don't think she's on right now, but.
Okay. No, that is awesome. And you can already just be doing the things that you've already been doing, encouraging her and just bringing out, you know, those awesome qualities. You know, that's what we can all do. No matter what's going on, we can all look for specific ways that we say, shout out, what an awesome job that you do at this. You know, Steph does a great job. I think she's ahead of the game all the time, finding the latest information and getting it all out to all the groups. I'm like, man, that girl's, you know, she is definitely leadership on her guard that way, which is awesome. Totally awesome. So yeah, Steph, if you watch this, shout out to you. Okay. Another one on page 26 that I highlighted, they said, simplify your message. Communication is not just what you say, it's also how you say it. Contrary to what educators think, the key to effective communication is simplicity. Forget about impressing people with big words or complex sentences. How often do we think we hear somebody speak somewhere and you go, wow, 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 all that, you know, the very educated response they have, boy, they must just be very smart. And it's saying forget about impressing people with big words or complex sentences. If you want to connect with people, keep it simple. Napoleon Bonaparte used to tell his secretaries, be clear, be clear, be clear. I just thought that was just awesome. Let's see, a story about it, that right, the next paragraph, about the young man invited to speak to a large group for the first time. So he approached his mentor for advice about giving a good speech. The older man said, write an exciting opening that will grab everybody in your audience. Then you write a dramatic summary and closing that will make the people want to act. Take action. Love that. Then put them as close together as possible. And then I love the number 2, see the person. You know, effective communicators focus on the people with whom they're communicating. They know it is impossible to effectively communicate to an audience without knowing something about them. Who is my audience? What are their questions? What needs to be accomplished? How much time do I have? And they say, if you want to be a better communicator, become audience-oriented. Know who you're delivering your message to, who you're communicating with. People believe in great communicators because great communicators believe in people. Okay, I don't want to be the only one talking here. What else do you guys have in that chapter 4 that you just absolutely loved? I always love how he has a section where he brings it home for us and the daily takeaway. That's very cool. And I just love it. The reading is very easy. You know, the way that he puts it together. He's being a simple communicator too in writing the book. Anything, guys?
Yeah, I do. Hang on.
Okay. I know I had underneath 28, the second bullet. During the coming week, pay attention to your focus when you communicate. Is it on you, your material, or your audience? If it's not on people, you need to change it. Think about their needs, questions, and desires. Meet people where they are, and you will be a better communicator.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry.
All right, no problem.
I don't know if you talked about this while I was gone, but I guess in both 3 and 4, for showing the truth, you know, a credibility precedes great communication. I'd put that, you know, it says, you know, first believe in what you say, and then second, live what you say. And that kind of tails in with what I'd underlined in the beginning of the chapter. But then the other one too is seeking a response. As you communicate, never forget that the goal of all communication is action. And I realize this is about leadership, but then I even took that to with when you do like a follow-up. You know, I have once again had great leads from River Hills Mall, this gal in the business, you know, and all this stuff. How do I communicate to make that action? You know what I'm saying? Like, she's interested in product, interested in the business. She's just busy. So how can I communicate better to make it be action? If that makes sense. So that's something I had underlined or the run when it says every time you speak to people, give them something to feel, something to remember, and something to do. I can't hear you, Liz.
Don't you like that? I would say, Sarah, like, because she's super busy, but yet she's interested, then say that. Communicate that. I know you're super busy, and yet I know you have total interest in these products. So I just need these things. Like, I'll list it out for people. I need your name, your, whatever you need for putting their order in. And then just say, what products were you thinking you want to get? And you know what? I need, all I need is that information. I'll get it in for you. Would you like me to put it in for you today? That's an action question at the very end. So I would just acknowledge she's busy, acknowledge that she's interested in the products, and then say, I just need this grouping of information. And what products do you want? What is your biggest, I don't know if you guys have figured out what she really wants or what her biggest, issue is that she wants to attack. And then just say, can I put it in for you today? And then it'll be all set coming to your door. Something like that. Just so that she'll be like, yes, somebody's getting that off my plate for me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I
will try that.
I was going to say, Becky, maybe you have something else. Or Lisa. Nope. Okay. I didn't know if you guys had a different thought for her too. Okay, cool. So just to keep moving here, because I hate to be too much longer after a half an hour. So we talked about, I think we can move on to the next one. Let's talk about competence. And this one is, competence goes beyond words. It's a leader's ability to say it, plan it, and do it in such a way that others know that you know how and know that they want to follow you. So this is talking a lot about Benjamin Franklin, talking about his history, what he's all been able to do. He excelled at everything he touched. And he said, hide not your talents. They for use were made. What's a sundial in the shade? I loved that quote that he put, and I even quoted this week when I was reading it on my Facebook page, because I was like, that is so very good. It's true. We've all been given talents by God. Every single one of us have a little bit different talent. And what use is it if we don't even exercise that talent, grow in that talent, and share in that talent?
You can lie in my bed while you're turning that on.
So I loved that, the competence thing. Do they have anything on there that besides what I said so far? I have some other points on there in that chapter.
I just even love the very last line of that section when they're telling the story about the grass and the plaster. Like, yeah, this has been plastered. I love that about this book too. I mean, it's obviously great tips, but the total nerdy book lover historian in me loves all these stories and the quotes. I do. I'm sorry. And I just love that. The people are like, yeah, he did his thing and they noticed it and they, yep. That's it. There's no question about it. I don't know. I love that.
Yes, I remember. I actually underlined that part, and I actually told John that because he thought that would be pretty funny, pretty cool. Yeah, that is so cool. I love that too. Okay, so fleshing it out. So we admire people who display high competence. They show up every day. All right. Not just doing the leftovers. They show up every day. They came ready to play every day, no matter how they feel. We often talk about in this business, if you want to be where you want to be, you can't just do this business when you feel like it. You have to do it every day, no matter how you're feeling, because of where you want to go. Keep improving. He said, all the highly competent people continually search for ways to keep learning, growing, and improving. Page 34. Follow through with excellence, always following through. Quality is never an accident. It is always a result of high intention, sincere effort, intelligent direction, and skillful execution. It represents the wise choice of many alternatives. So again, when we feel like, sometimes we think, well, we're bothering people. when we follow up with people. No, we're actually following through with excellence. It's like any good business owner would do. So we can't be thinking that we're being annoying or that we're just, bothering a person with this or that. No, we are not doing that. We are following through with excellence. We are a professional business owner. Accomplish more than expected. Highly competent people always go the extra mile. They inspire others. When they are performing at high levels, they're inspiring others. Okay, what else, guys? Did you like when you think about 3 people who are competent, you're really considering only 3 types of people. Those who can see what needs to happen, those who can make it happen, those who can make things happen when it really counts. Anything with that? Then we'll go on to the next chapter.
And under bringing it home, just the word re-engage. I know I got off track with all the homecoming stuff I had to do the last couple of months. And so I know I have a vendor show the next 3 Saturdays. So it's a perfect time for me to get my head back in the game, to re-engage.
Awesome. You know what, too, Sarah? We were just talking, like Becky just had a really awesome, she has a Friday weekly wrap party. And we talked about like just really incentivizing. So I don't know if you have one of those wheels when people take action at your table, like become a loyal customer and boom, you get this. Reimbursed shipping, writing you a check right now. Or boom, you get $5 off or whatever that is. But I have found that to be extremely effective at your events if you really intentionally, because everybody goes into a store because there's a sale. Like if I know Kohl's I got a 30% off, I'm going into that store, I got a 30% off coupon. When people come up to your table and you can say to them, today, these are today's specials, and you spin the wheel, become a loyal customer or book a party or whatever that is. So last night, Becky did that, and she got 2 booked shows. She got loyal customers who placed an additional order because that was something on her wheel. And then she has potential distributors. So that was an effective party.
So just a quick question. So like, that was always just they could pick a prize, but it wasn't because they'd done. So you're saying like once they do something like buy a wrap or become a loyal or book a party, then they like if I turned it into that, like, hey, you bought a wrap, you got to pick an extra prize.
But this is what you have to do. This is what I was going to tell you, Sarah. You have to be upfront and say, today's specials are, when you, not like after the fact when they do it, you got to like say, this is today's specials, just like when you get your flyer for a store. Today's specials are, when you become a loyal customer today with me, you get this. When you become a distributor on my team, you get this. When you book a party with me today, you get this. Which one would you like to do today with me? You know what I mean? Like, be very intentional and incentivize people. And of course,
you had that like on a wheel, on a prize wheel?
Becky, explain what you did.
Okay, so here's what I did.
You just got off your phone for just a little bit because even your phone got better. It's still.
They have like stuff for like bulletin boards and all that stuff. Well, they have a 4-pack for $1 of little game spinners. So there's 8 little sections on the spinner. So I just bought that. I literally just glued it to a piece of foam board, and I just used some Dollar Tree sticker letters that said "It Works Prize Wheel." And then I found an idea on fall games, and I happened upon this one where it was a piece of foam board. They hot glued plastic like Solo cups to it, where the cup itself was, facing the bottom was glued to the foam board. And then I covered each one with a piece of tissue paper and a rubber band. And inside the cup, I had index cards folded in half that had a prize on it. There was 2 that were a circle with a slash going through it in red, and it said no, so it wasn't a winner. And then the other ones had it could be free shipping on your first loyal customer order, $5 off a facial, $10 off a wrap. Just different incentive. Now that board was only if they were willing, and they knew that coming in, if they placed an addition, because we did have a couple current loyal customers there. So what I told them was, if you place an additional order tonight, and if this deal is only good tonight only, and I put that on those index. I don't have any cash on me. That's okay. You can PayPal me the money, or you can do like Chase Quick Pay or whatever. But if they weren't able to do it, then I couldn't give them that deal. So it got them incentivized to be like, oh, I have to place an additional order in addition to my auto ship going out this month to get this, free shipping or do whatever. But if they booked a party and they had to set their date in stone last night, then they got to take a spin on the prize wheel. And so whatever number, and then each one was an actual prize. So from the 2 people that booked a party last night, one's getting a bottle of Confianza and one's getting a bottle of Fat Fighters. But they don't get that prize until the night of the party because, otherwise they can take the chance to cancel out and they just got their free product for nothing. And then I had a couple of games where I had a jar with M&Ms in it. I had another winners that guessed the closest to the right amount. Then they got to do a punch on the board. So we had one that bought a facial last night and was able to get $10 off. So that helped because it, like Liz said, we had 2 loyal customers that came. They used that incentive to place an additional order last night, so it helped to boost their overall volume. And then I signed a new loyal and booked 2 parties from it. And the 2 different game boards. That's it. And I'll be glad if you want me to. I can post pictures in the book club thread, so you can just see like what it looked like. And like I said, literally, I'm still a penny pincher. It was $4.
Well, even
the wheel. And
I don't need it now, but if you could even write down all the ideas used for all the prizes. I would have to. I can't. If you just, so I can get me some ideas of, if you could just share what you made all your prizes.
Sure.
Or like the bonuses.
Yeah, I made especially for the ones that was the punch thing where they had to punch through the tissue paper. I made those, not the big ones.
Okay.
So it was a lot of them, which I can post that for you. So it was like $5 off, $10 off,
okay.
Free shipping on just your first order. And then there were a couple that were like whammies. They didn't win anything, but they said they could win something or get $10 off or a free wrap. There was a couple of free wraps, I think, in there too.
So. I even like the idea of guess the M&Ms or candy corn. I could even see that at all these vendor shows, especially in Halloween candy time. You can put a guess in and later the winner will get a whatever, but it kind of gets them to your table and,
Get them, you can ask them to have little slips of paper just like for the drawings and have them put their number so you can contact them if they win.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Yeah. Awesome idea. Sorry that's sidetracked from the book, but
I'll definitely share that, Sarah.
Liz, you're muted again.
Sorry. Vendor season, that's great because this is the season where a lot of vendor shows are happening, and so I just think that when you're intentional and you go in and say, I am signing up loyal customers and I'm offering a deal for it. And I'm signing up, did I say distributors, loyal customers, and I'm booking parties. That is what I'm doing. I'm not walking away without these things happening today. And you do activities that give them action to make that happen. So, and then of course there's going to be those that say, I don't want any of that. That's fine. But those that do come up, you've got action steps for them to take. So, last chapter, I love it. Courage. One person with courage is a majority. Courage is rightly esteemed the first of human qualities because it is the quality which guarantees all others. Courage is fear that has said its prayers. Okay, what do you guys think about that? What did you guys underline with the courage? And I got on page 40, I'll start. Courage begins with an inward battle. Every test you face as a leader begins within you. The test of courage is no different. As psychotherapist Sheldon Kopp notes, all the significant battles are waged within self. Courage isn't an absence of fear. It's doing what you're afraid to do. It's having the power to let go of the familiar and forge ahead into new territory. This was true for Rickenbacker, and it can be true for you. What do you guys have?
Well, I had totally, that's me. The inward. 3, just in general. courage, or leader inspires, their commitment. Under 4, I underlined on the bottom of page 41, what's ironic is that those who don't have the courage to take risks and those who do experience the same amount of fear in life. I just thought, oh, that's true. That's really true.
Yeah.
And then once again, because I'm a cool story about President Andrew Jackson, and then that pastor that was told not to say anything offensive in his sermon and said it, and then Jackson came up and said, "Sir, if I had a regiment of men like you, I could whip the world." Sorry, I just love those things.
Yes, I underlined that actually too. That was an awesome part too. Isn't that funny? It's those, I'm telling you, the world changers are the ones that felt the fear and they did it anyways. Those are the ones that paved the way for when you look back in history, and those are the ones that have, even in the Bible, the ones that, Peter walking on water, David up against Goliath. I mean, these are people who everybody else was fearful, and they just said, I'm doing it. I'm going. I got my Lord with me, and I'm going to be courageous. So I absolutely love this chapter. It just reminded me again that when we hear so often, stretch yourself, every day you should be, whatever it is, 7% out of your comfort zone every single day. Like every single day, one of John Maxwell books said that. Your goal should be to stretch yourself a little bit every single day and do something that you normally wouldn't do. Anybody else have anything?
Well, I hope this doesn't sound conceited, but I love that part too, because it just reminded me that yourself and you're getting out of your comfort zone and coming up with, and this kind of goes back to what we were just talking about, how you're, stretching yourself, and it kind of ties into both, where you got to have the courage too to get creative and to come up with new ideas. And if you're not willing to stretch yourself and constantly be finding new ways to do that, you're not going to grow. And so, like I said, I hope it doesn't sound conceited, but I was like because I've been doing that. Like I was like super happy. It put a big smile on my face when I read that, because I'm like, I'm doing that. Like I've been trying to find new and creative ways to draw people in. And I've been, watching a lot of other videos, and, the video you shared the other day, I actually did one yesterday, and I did actually get someone, that was the girl that ended up coming to my party and signed as a loyal, because I did a video and I talked about the acai berry, what it does and what the importance are and what antioxidants are. And that if you, and I'd be happy to, share some recommendations of products that contain that can help you to tackle those goals. And she reached out to me within 10 minutes, and she was at the party last night and signed as a loyal. So I was like, I love that part, like how we're constantly in our personal development, and we hear something, we could have heard it before, just in a different light from someone different, but all of a sudden it clicks, and you do it, and you see like, no wonder these top leaders, you just have to get out of your comfort zone, have the confidence and the courage to just get out there and do it.
Yes. No, that wasn't conceited at all. You are absolutely doing that. You are absolutely thinking of different ways to connect people. The Go-Giver, if we read all the Go-Giver, that was all that Go-Giver was. Everybody's trying to figure out who was the person who made all this happen with all these people. It was, I forget the name of the person, but he was a connector. That's what he was. He was a connector. He took this person's needs and connected him with this resource over here, and he did this person with that and put him over here. Like how you see, you can tag people in something that that would help somebody else. That's what a connector is and what a connector does. So, just being that courageous. I mean, that was off subject, the connecting thing, but it absolutely is. It truly is. Your willingness to get out there and risk. Because what do you truly have to lose? By being safe and just doing your own little thing, you're actually not getting to where you want to go. You're just sitting there thinking, I'm scared, and I'm yet not achieving what I want to achieve. And so really, really, when you think about it, what do you have to lose? By just saying, I'm just going to feel the fear and I'm just going to go do it. And every single time, I'm telling you, every single time I get up and get out there and do something that's scary for me, God shows me a blessing every single time. And I'm always like, why did I always so afraid to do that? And then it's like, boom, loyal customer. Or I went over there and talked to a certain, I'm like, I don't want to do it. And then I do it. And then it's like, I got another potential distributor or whatever that looks like. And I'm like, thank you, Jesus, you know? So we do need, he is ready to give you it. You just have to be willing to walk on the water like Peter did, and he will show you, you know? So I love it. Any last closing thoughts, guys? Otherwise, man, about an hour here. This is good stuff.
I love too how when we do that as leaders, that like our team, I can find sometimes that my team, certain people on my team will be in a funk and they're like, oh, I'm just not getting any response or blah, 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 blah. I feel like it's our job as a leader to constantly be having that creativity and getting the wheels turning for our own business, because again, as leaders, so if we're leading by example and we're like, oh my gosh, you guys, so this is what I did. Remember how I posted this, or Liz posted this in the team enter page, and I told you to go watch it. And I saw that some people watched it and they said, oh, that was really good, but I don't see them taking action. So if we take the action and we say, this is great, you need to do this, and then we take the action and do it and we get results, it gets our team motivated and they're going to follow in our footsteps. And then guess what happens? Volume goes up, you know, the team keeps growing. And my team has been growing so quickly because I finally just like, I mean, I've always said that I don't care what other people think, because, you know, that saying like other people's opinions aren't what's paying my bills. But I feel like maybe I wasn't taking enough action to get creative enough. I was creative and I was taking action, but I don't think I was taking enough. And honestly, I really honestly swear, I think it was the $1 million giveaway, that hype really got me in this zone of, which I don't even care that I didn't win. It got me in that mindset, like massive action. Like I was taking massive action, but I need to take more. Mm-hmm. And I need to get even more creative and come up with new ways. And because things are always changing, just like the Facebook algorithms are always changing, our business has to constantly be changing with the times. Mm-hmm. So, you know, Periscope used to be really huge. It's kind of dwindled down. You know, it's Facebook Live now. You know, always changing. So we have to always be constantly finding new ways to get the word out and encourage our teams and show them, like, this is what we're doing. I've tried it this way. This is what worked for me. Give it a try. It won't work for everyone, but, you know, just exuding that confidence and showing them that you have the courage to try something different that maybe nobody else is doing, that's going to really, you know, help, I think.
Right. And, you know, just the simplicity of just showing your team what you're doing. When you're out blitzing, make sure you take a picture that you're doing it. You know what I mean? Like, just show people that you're out actively working your business. That alone, you don't have to even be super creative. Just show people that what you're doing in your business every day. Even if you're contacting people, just take a picture of your hundreds list and what you're doing. You know what I mean? Because that shows them, okay, well, if Sarah's doing it, or if Becky's doing it, Liz is doing it, then I can do it. You know what I mean? Or she's out blitzing. Oh, I really should make sure I blitz today when I'm out too. So it's just truly just letting them know and letting people see what you're doing for your business that's going to inspire them and remind them, oh yes, that's right, I need to do something for my business today. Awesome. Great conversation. Holy buckets. Well, thank you guys for having coffee with me today this morning. It's 8:25 here. It's like 10:25 in Sarah's zone, Sarah and Lisa's zone, and like 11, almost lunchtime for Becky. Crazy. Awesome. Yeah, last night we had we had company over, people that were, again, still relationship building and getting to know families over here. So some that have helped us move in. We finally had some people over to our house. So I just shut my phone off and was fully plugged in with getting to know and relationship building with other families that were over for our taco night margaritas. So it was a lot of fun last night. So I see Lisa showing her face. Maybe she has some things she wants to say.
It's so windy here. I don't watch the full recording so that I can hear everything else, because I couldn't quite participate in the whole thing today.
That's all right. We're thankful you joined in.
Yes, it's been awesome, the bits I have heard.
Yeah. Maya doing good? Did they win?
No. No, Sophia's playing. But they have fun. Well, Maya has fun. So Sophia. Sophia likes to do cartwheels out there.
Oh, funny. That's hilarious. Gotta love it. It's entertaining, you know.
Yes.
All right, guys. Well, I will let you go. I'll get the recording up, and then we will be ready for next Saturday with 7, 8, and 9. All right? And practice what we learned today. This week.
Awesome. Thank you, Liz.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
Bye, ladies.
Bye.